What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and today I'm going to be predicting the outcome of Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley, and this is going to be an 8-rounder in the Cruiserweight division, and this fight is going to be Saturday, December 18th from the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida, and this fight is going to be broadcasted on Showtime pay-per-view, and to get both fighters' resumes, Jake Paul, fighting out of the United States, holds a record of 4 wins and no defeats, with 3 wins coming by way of knockout. He's currently ranked number 659 by BoxRec in the Cruiserweight division. And to list all 4 of his victories, he has a knockout win over Son Gibb, a knockout win over Nate Robinson, who is a former NBA star. He has a knockout win over former UFC fighter and Bellator champion Ben Askren, and a split decision victory over Tyron Woodley in their first fight. And to get his opponent's resume, Tyron Woodley, fighting out of the United States as well, holds a boxing record of 0-1, but in MMA, he was the former UFC welterweight champion and had a record of 19 wins, 7 defeats, and 1 draw with 7 knockouts. He's also ranked number 761 by BoxRec in the Cruiserweight division, and as mentioned before, his one and only loss came by split decision to Jake Paul in their first fight. And in my opinion, this fight is going to go once again in favor of Jake Paul. I mean, Tyron Woodley's basically taking this fight on like 2 weeks' notice, I believe so, or like a week and a half notice, because Jake Paul was originally supposed to fight the brother of current WBC heavyweight world champion Tyson Fury. He was supposed to fight Tommy Fury, and yeah, I mean, Tommy Fury had to pull out due to, I think, like some sort of arm injury, whether it was a broken arm, whatever, something like that. I forgot what it was, honestly, but yeah, now Tyron Woodley accepted the rematch, and there was apparently some weird stuff in their contract. I forgot what it was, but I mean, like, this fight has clearly not been getting as much hype as their first fight, obviously, since it was on such few weeks' notice. But yeah, I mean, I think it will be easier for Jake Paul in this one because Tyron Woodley, one, hasn't got a lot of training to prepare him for this fight, and two, because Jake Paul has been training for a while for Tommy Fury, who's an actual boxer who probably would have defeated Jake Paul pretty easily. And I know Tommy Fury doesn't have a lot of amateur experience, but still, he probably would have won. But Jake Paul, I mean, he's also a famous social media star, famous YouTuber, has significantly more subscribers than me. But yeah, it's just he's also gotten into boxing now. And do I think he's ever going to get a shot at a world title or anything? No. But he's definitely generating a lot of money from the people who aren't really into boxing, like the celebrities, like I would say super casual fans, like the ones who only watch the big fights, like all that. I mean, from celebrities, whatever. I mean, he just gets a lot of traction, being that he's popular on social media, and I'm not going to blame him. He makes a lot of money for that reason. And I mean, I'm just going to be honest. The fight card for this fight is not that good, but I'm not even too excited for the main event as well. I mean, I don't think this fight's going to be as sort of interesting as the first fight because I think that Jake Paul knows how Tyron Woodley is going to fight, and being that it's only on a week and a half to 2 weeks notice, it's not as exciting. So yeah, I think Tyron Woodley is going to lose this one again, and this time much more clear. And these guys were actually supposed to have a rematch because after their first fight, Jake Paul, or there was a clause or something like that, whatever, that the loser would have to get a tattoo of "I love" whoever, like the winner's last name was, for example. Since Woodley lost, he would have had to get "I love Jake Paul" tattooed in his body, and he did. I believe it was on his like finger or something. But yeah, that meant that they would get a rematch if that would happen, and now they're doing it. So yeah, it's just all crazy stuff. I mean, this doesn't really happen in the actual real boxing scene. I mean, this is really just all for show, in my opinion. But yeah, this fight is going to happen. It's an actual fight, so 8 rounds, 3 minutes, no 2 minute rounds, no anything. It's a real fight, goes in their professional records in boxing. I mean, as you can see, Jake Paul already 4-0, knocking out inexperienced fighters. So, I mean, Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren are not inexperienced fighters, obviously, but like in boxing they are. Ben Askren, a primarily wrestler, former Olympian for the United States in wrestling. Then his other 2 wins were Son Gibb, who's a YouTuber with a couple million subscribers, and Nate Robinson, a former NBA star. So not really too much competition there. So I think once Jake Paul actually does fight a boxer, he's going to get destroyed, if I'm going to be honest. And Woodley was also able to knock down Jake Paul in their first fight. And I'm going to be honest, that was a knockdown. That was a technical knockdown. The ropes held him up. So I don't really think that Jake Paul is going to get dropped in this fight like that. Like, I'm going to be honest, that, as I mentioned before, that is a knockdown. I don't think he's going to get hurt like that in this fight. But Yeah, I think he's going to fight more aggressive, I guess you could say, because in their first fight he fought super passive, was on the outside, not even like using footwork or anything. He was just walking on the outside and just jabbing, not really doing too much. And to be honest, his shots weren't actually hurting Tyron Woodley at all. Like Tyron Woodley, whenever he'd get hit, he'd just keep coming forward. I mean, I guess that shows the difference between an MMA fighter's power and a YouTuber's power, because Tyron Woodley has been knocked out before, I believe so, or dropped and really hurt in MMA, I should say. I don't really think he's been brutally like knocked out or stopped on technical not. I mean, maybe he has early on in his career. I think he had in like Bellator or something like that, and or something like, yeah, like Strikeforce, Bellator, whatever it was. But I believe in his last four losses, he has not been knocked out. I mean, against Vicente Luque, he got dropped and then submitted, but still, I mean, it's just totally different with 4 ounce gloves and whatnot. And being that he was also able to easily take Paul's shots and just come forward without being hurt, I think he's going to do okay in this fight when it comes to like getting hit. He's definitely going to be able to take Jake Paul's shots, but I don't think that. I mean, still, I don't think that Jake Paul will be able to withstand a clean shot from Woodley, but I think he will be more defensive minded here, but he will also fight better. Like, in a sense, he won't be fighting defensively. He'll just keep his hands up and fight more aggressive and make it more exciting for the fans, because the first fight, I mean, he fought scared. I mean, I know there's boxing and boxing where you use your footwork, you use your head movement, you or the ring general, you use your jab, you counter your opponent. But Jake Paul wasn't doing any of that. He was legitimately just walking around the ring with his hands down, just jabbing lightly. And the fight, in his terms, was not. It wasn't too exciting the first one, but Jake Paul, or should I say Tyron Woodley, was really pressing the fight, coming forward in like an MMA stance with his legs pretty wide and bent down, giving a lot of his height away. And Jake Paul could have capitalized on that, but he did not, and was just getting hit with overhand rights. And I believe I had the first fight at draw. So in this fight, I do think that Tyron Woodley will still be the one coming forward with that sort of MMA stance, throwing overhand rights. Whilst Jake Paul will also be on the outside more like the first fight, but I think he will, in moments, be more aggressive and come forward a bit more and try and land more combinations as opposed to landing cleaner or single shots in the first fight like he did. So with that being said, I believe that this fight will go the distance once again, and I think that Jake Paul will get a unanimous decision on the judges' scorecards. And comment down below your thoughts on this fight and how you think the judges will score if it goes the distance, who will win, if there will be a knockout or anything like that. So yeah, and I think the judges will score this bout like 78-74 once, which is 6 rounds to 2, or like 77-75 twice, which is 5 rounds to 3. So overall, I believe that Jake Paul will once again defeat Tyron Woodley, but this time by a unanimous decision. And once again, I think the judges will score this bout 78-74 once and 77-75 twice. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.